Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes It Up. Today I'm finally going to do a very requested video, which was my makeup wedding, the makeup I wore on my wedding day. I feel so out of practice because this is, believe it or not, the first time I filmed since roughly like a month, because I pre-recorded everything up to that point and before I went away. So it feels like I'm saying hello again for the first time. I hope you're all really well. So I've been busy getting married, which has been really, really lovely. We got married on Venice Beach in Los Angeles, which was just very magical. There was like 8 of us. It was very relaxed and just everything I could hope for. It was really magical. And we've got some more celebrations back home this weekend. And yeah, then that's kind of it, I guess, for the wedding. And it's nice to be able to share with you guys what I wore and kind of my makeup and stuff like that. So I'm just priming with some moisturiser. The first thing I started with makeup wise might surprise you guys. I bet you all thought I was going to go for Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, which I very nearly did. However, the one that I actually went for on the day, I just really like the finish of this, and it's a little bit more matte. Also, I had so much makeup to take with me to Los Angeles that I had to take squeezy tubes, and I actually went for the Estée Lauder Double Wear Light, Stay in Place makeup. And as you can see, I've got a bit more colour than what I normally have, so I definitely was quite tanned by my wedding day. So I found myself mixing a bit of number 2 and number 3 together. And I actually applied this with my hands on the day. I just popped it kind of on the centre of my face. And a little of this does go a long way, but because obviously it was on a beach, it was quite hot, I did want something with a tiny bit of SPF in, and this has SPF 10, so it's enough I felt I could get away with it for not having to worry about the flashback photography. So I'm just literally smoothing that out from the centre of my skin, and I just love this foundation. I think it's such a nice alternative to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, especially if you have slightly more oily skin. This is still a really, really nice one. It still looks like skin. Obviously it's my wedding day, so I didn't want to plaster my face in makeup. But I also had a little bit of sun protection as well with this, just a little bit. And you want to make sure you're taking it down your neck as well. What I did on the day was I put my dress on first though, and then I kind of did my neck around my dress. I'll put a little picture somewhere, you'll see in the thumbnail, picture of my dress if you haven't already seen it. And my whole kind of wedding vibe, if you like, I'm not a big traditional planner. That's a lie. With organisation, everything else I am, but not with a wedding. I realised that I think me and my now husband, that feels very funny saying that, me and Dave, are very kind of chilled, our style's very relaxed, and we definitely wanted our wedding to have a relaxed feel. So in the end, my dress was just quite beachy and bohemian. I had my hair pretty much as it is now, and I just wanted to look like me, but better, and at my best self. And I think that's what makeup's all about as well. So there was a slight Harry flick involved, obviously. I couldn't get married and not have a Harry flick because that's very me. So next thing I did on the day was my brows. And for brows, again, because I was on the beach, I wanted the makeup to last all day long. I actually went for more of a gel brow, and I used the Lancome Sourcils gel, which I'll put a blog post down below of these because I love these. And I'm using the shade 04 and just a little angle brush. And I just kind of like added a little bit more thickness to my brow, but I just build the colour up very, very slowly. I'm gonna go to a smaller mirror so you guys can see better. So I just kind of filled in slowly as I went along and just kind of increased the definition and the shape of my brow, because my brows do go very sparse, especially to the outer corner. So that's where I use this just to build up that little bit extra. And it's so funny when you look at this brow product, actually, you almost think it's got shimmer in. And when I asked the PR girls about that, they were like, no, that's actually what makes it look real on the hair. So don't be afraid, there is no shimmer when you put it on your brow. It just somehow makes it more light reflective, so it looks more tonal, which I think is really clever. And then just with what was left on the brush, I kind of went nearer the front part of the brow and then just made sure it was exactly where I wanted it everywhere. And then the second product I used on my brows was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, which I absolutely love. I just think it stays in place better than any other brow gel I've used. And I just popped a little bit of that. Again, it's just nice because it gives the brow a little bit of soft definition as well. And also I just knew they were going to stay in place all day and through the heat, which was quite warm on the beach. And the other thing I've got to tell you about, guys, as well, I'm so excited to share. As you know, I did my first course, e-course online, which was called All About That Base, which I'll put a link to below. And my second course, as some of you may have already guessed, is going to be a bridal makeup course. It's called The Modern Bride. It's going to be available to pre-order now as well. And I'll pop all the links below. It's £39 and it's kind of like a 2-week course, but you can do it totally in your own time because you have access to the course forever. So you can do it always. And I wanted to do a video called The Modern Bride and not launch it till after my wedding, because I think actually going through the process myself as well, it was really fun to kind of see about the extra bits after the day, looking back, that maybe I hadn't thought about just from a makeup artist point of view, but actually someone experiencing a wedding as well, if that makes sense. And the good thing with this course as well, it's not just for brides. It's great if you are someone wanting to become, say, a bridal makeup artist, or perhaps you're going to a wedding soon, you're going to be a guest, perhaps you're a bridesmaid or the mother of the bride. And also it's great if you have kind of special occasions coming up and you just want to learn, you know, kind of like a classic warm tone makeup, a classic cool tone makeup, and just kind of, you know, the use of like the nude palette and how to make the most of your features so that you look like you, but the best you possible. So I'm going to put all the links for that down below, and make sure you go and check out that as well to have a little look at that. And that's available for pre-order now. So it will launch, the date I'll put down below because I'm not 100% sure yet the official date, but it will be soon. So make sure you check out that. Then on the day, what I did do was, for the eyes, I kind of went for a bronzy, slight Harry flick eye, and I just felt like that's what I feel prettiest with, and I feel like it photographs nicely on me. So that's the other thing with a wedding makeup, you want to make sure you're kind of looking for what you feel like you at your best in, but also what you feel will kind of photograph well. So if you're more of an eye person, you might want to focus on the eyes, and vice versa. If you're a lip person, or, you know, just about skin and mascara, that might be all you need. But for me, I'm definitely an eye girl. So I went for like a smoky bronzy eye, but it was still kind of more about accentuating the eye rather than a full-on smoky eye. And the first thing I used was the Nars Pro Prime, Smudge Prime, never know what this is called. Again, you guys know, I'll link it down below. And I literally just kind of went on the emphasis of kind of thin layers for my wedding makeup. So because it was on a beach as well, and it was very, very warm, that's the main reason why I'm using this as well as a creamed powder eyeshadow, which you'll see in a minute. I just really wanted to give everything the best chance of it lasting, and it did, so I know it works. So next thing I used on my eyes was one of the Tom Ford cream eyeshadows, and this one is Spice, which is a lovely kind of bronzy gold colour. And I just worked that, that's a Tom Ford eyeshadow brush, but obviously you guys can use any brush you like. And I just started in like circular buffing motions, and I wanted this almost like another base, but also like a nice transition colour to work the whole of the eye makeup into. And obviously doing kind of all these small little layers means that it was going to last a lot longer. So I'm building more of the pigment into the middle of the eye, the centre, and just buffing that outwards. So you can see it's a gorgeous colour. It's really, really nice, flattering on all skin tones as well, these kind of warm tones. So it was quite, I'd say it was quite a warm tone makeup. And then I took another buffing brush. This is just a Bobbi Brown eye smudger, not eye smudger, eye blender. And just kind of went over that completely to make sure there was no edges, so I could kind of transition any other eyeshadows into the look really easily as well. And I also took a little bit of that as well under the eye. So this is a Bold Metals brush. And again, for me at this point, it's just kind of all about creating a base so the makeup really, really lasts. So I even think I came quite low down with this on the day. And then just use the Tom Ford one again, just to kind of smudge that out a little bit. I've almost like traced the shape as well of the eye that I like. So it's kind of gone into the contours. It's gone below the brow, but enough that there's a gap. And then just kind of joined underneath. So again, don't worry about concealer right now. That's coming. But yeah, it was such a nice day, guys. It was really, really lovely. And thank you so much for all your lovely comments. It was so lovely, like the next day reading all your Instagram comments. That really, like, it was very lovely. So next I took Marc Jacobs. This is their gel liner in Blacquer. Oh my God, the lid's really stuck. And this I just love for tightlining the upper lash line. So next thing I used on my eyes on the big day was the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette, and I used the Smoke shade just to give a little bit more soft definition to the sockets. So I'm just taking that, and again, this is almost like building on that kind of transition and kind of building with the layers so that it really did last all day. And I just took that on the outer corner a little bit as well, just as like a little bit of extra shading to my eye. And then the piece that I used that I was so in love with was this eyeshadow by Gucci. This is called Magnetic Colour Eyeshadow Duo, and this is in the shade Amaretto, and I use mostly the dark shade, which is like a really rich brown with almost like slight reddy shade in, but it's more brown. So I'm going to go back to, what am I going to go back to? I think on the day I used this one of my old Nars brushes, and what I did was I first of all started just running that darkest colour along my lash line, but higher than what I would normally do a liner, so it has a little bit more definition, but it just looks so lovely with that Tom Ford colour as well. And then I also did the same underneath my lower lash line, but I did it just on the outer corner. And then once I got to that point, I had to go back to the Gucci eyeshadow and take some of the darkest colour and just tap a little bit of the excess off. And then now I just want to kind of connect almost where the socket is with where I've drawn like the invisible liner almost. So as if where I'd be putting an eyeliner, just so like the outer V starts to have a little bit more shading in it. And an important trick is to make sure on the outer corner, you just buff outwards in kind of like circular motions, just to make sure there's not kind of like a definite point, but it was also still winging out very subtly. So next thing I did was of course a Harry flick, and there was only one eyeliner that I was going to use for this, and this is maybe one of the only drugstore items in this tutorial, but it shows you how much I love it. It is the Kiko Intense Eyeliner, and I chose this because I knew it would last all day, which it did. So I started this. This is why now you can see where I've kind of done that shading with the darker colour on the lower lash line, just to add a bit of natural darkness so that when I do the liner it doesn't look really stark. So I started in the centre and went all the way from the inner corner, and I kept it quite thin in the inner corner, but then once I got to the outer corner, started to flick upwards and thicken a little bit. So I didn't go too full on with the wing, but enough that it was a good Harry flick. And then back to the Marc Jacobs eyeliner, and I just took, again, a tiny bit, just that extra definition, just to use into that lower lash line, so that the lower lash line looked really dark without me having to wear kind of any eyeliner on the inside, so it didn't close up the eye too much. I'm going to do a bit of the FairyDrops waterproof mascara, which you guys know I love this. And I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom lashes as well, but I'm going to do 2 coats of everything. So at the minute this is just like a fine coat onto the bottom lashes. And then I'm going to apply some to the top lashes, of course. And on my wedding day I went for individual lashes because I know they're super comfy, again they last really well, but I also just like the way they look like my lashes, but how I would love my lashes to look. So, and then I also took a bit of the lightest colour, sorry, the golden one, the middle colour from the Charlotte Tilbury palette, and just popped a little bit of that on the inner corner just to blend it in. So like I said, on the day I had some individual lashes. These are by, not Ardell, these are Eylure, but both do great ones that are knot free, as long as you've got the knot free lashes. And I used a mix of the short ones and the medium ones. So I'm starting with some short ones, and like I said, I did a mix on the day, and I would just literally drop them into anywhere where there was kind of a space and just let them fall into my lashes naturally. And in the Modern Bride course as well, there's tips and videos on how to do these perfectly, so how to do like individual lashes really easily, especially if you have like a wobbly hand and you want to kind of do them on yourself. Everything is in there to guide you, to show you how to do it perfectly and seamlessly. So individual lashes on, I'm going to leave the glue to dry properly before I do any more mascara, and I'm going to go on to concealer, which is the bit I love because this is when it all starts to come together. So again, like I said, I had got more of a tan being in LA for a week before we got married, so I had to use 2 concealers. And again, it might surprise you, I went with the Urban Decay Naked Concealer, which I'm really, really loving at the minute. So first of all, I started with one that was nearer my own skin tone, and this one is medium light neutral. And I started with this kind of lower down, just a few dots there. And like you can see now already, my redness has started to come back through. So it was mostly to kind of keep an eye on my redness. And I did some on my chin and around my nose on both sides. And then just took my trusty faithful Real Techniques, the setting brush, and just kind of buff that in. Here we go. Love it when we get to like just clean up the eye area and it just starts to pop and really come to life. And I took that a little bit almost on the inside of the nose, just to start to bring it together. And again, you can start to see that really come through now and look like a nice pretty eye makeup. And then what I did was I took a slightly lighter tone, so the next one down, which is light neutral, and I took this kind of to the inner corners of the eyes, so just a little bit there, that's all I did, just to kind of add a subtle highlight to under the eye area so there was no shadows. And again, using my setting brush, just kind of patted that in so that there's a nice kind of pop of highlight under the eye. And sort of keeping, like you can see now I've still got the flick, but it's smoky and soft, it's not too harsh. So that's a really good trick as well if you feel like you're kind of doing your makeup for your bridal and you feel like it's going too dark or a bit too smoky, you can always just use what's left on your concealer brush just to take it down and make sure there's a nice gap between the brows still. So next thing I used was the Le Saharian YSL, the kind of blur bronzer with my IT Cosmetics brush. And I decided that I did want kind of cream products on my big day, so I just wanted to really enhance the glow I'd already got while I was in LA. And I just do this with tapping, so tapping it into the product, and then I work in small circular motions and just buff the product up and over the bridge of the nose so that it all kind of comes together and doesn't look like two perfect circles. And also the first place you always catch a tan is the top of the forehead. So I just wanted to emphasize that ever so slightly more. And then using the same brush, using a bit of the Tom Ford, this is their cream colour blush in Pink Sand, which I just love. I think I found this actually when I was in LA last time. And just to kind of the apples of the cheeks and upwards, I just added a little pink flush, which you can see is really nice and dewy, just to give me that nice kind of bridal flush look, which I just am so in love with this blusher. I think it's so pretty. So for powder on the big day, I went with Hourglass Dim Light. How cute is this teeny miniature that I got from Sephora? I've been obsessed with this. And the reason I chose Dim Light was because I still wanted that all over glow. I'm just someone who naturally prefers glowing makeup. So again, if you wanted more matte skin, obviously you can use a more mattifying powder, but I chose this because it still works really nicely with the cream products. But I just use it kind of down the center and under my eyes as well, just to brighten and lift without mattifying. But it just meant that it kind of knocked back any of the shine I didn't want, but just didn't make me look super matte or anything look too heavy. So just around the nose is pretty much where I powdered, through the forehead and around my chin. And then last but not least was my lips, and for that I used Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheats in Pillow Talk, and I just lined the lips all over and went slightly over the top of my top lip. And then I went to my favourite lipstick, which I think this probably is my favourite all-time nude lipstick on myself, and it is the Burberry one. It is Lip Mist Nude Peach number 212, and I just love this because it is more of a sheer lipstick, but it's so comfortable to wear. It's like wearing balm, and it's not so nude that I look dead or kind of too grey or flat. It's just really, really flattering. And I just wore that just from the bullet over the top. So that, guys, is pretty much the finished look. This was near to exactly how I wore my wedding makeup. Obviously it might vary with the lights, etc., because it was daylight that I got married in. But I hope you enjoyed this look, and make sure you check out my new course, which is The Modern Bride. All the links that will be down below. And let me know if you're getting married this year. I feel like it's been such a fun experience, and I want to hear your guys' stories and how you're getting ready for it, if you know what kind of wedding you're going to have. And if you haven't seen already, me and the lovely Hannah Janes are doing a summer survival guide, which is every Wednesday, kind of through summer. We're not sure how long exactly it's going to be yet, but it's going to be through summer at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, 1 week on her channel, 1 week on mine. And we've already done the heat-proof, sweat-proof makeup products, our favourites, which I'll do a link up here if you haven't seen it already. Please make sure you subscribe. Subscribing is free, and it means you get to see all the videos as they kind of come. You see them first. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's nice to be back. It feels very strange to be filming again, and there's lots of new things to be coming from HarryMakesItUp, so make sure you keep an eye out and leave me some comments below, and I'll try and get back onto kind of leaving comments and stuff. I've just been with the wedding, it's all been really manic, but I'm back and I'm ready and I'm excited to kind of get back into it all. And yeah, can't wait to hear from you guys. So leave me a comment below and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks guys, bye.